Thank you, and good morning everyone, and great to be here on day 3 of IMARC talking about a very important topic, and fantastic follow-up from the panel there, and there were some nice segues into my presentation, and Adrian, thank you for that reference to revolution rather than evolution, and it wasn't designed that way, but very good all the same. You would note that although we have titled in the program in the introduction that it is around decarbonisation revolution, the title of the presentation here today is around reimagining mining. Revolution being the outcome and the process of reimagining how we mine to actually deliver on that revolution. 3 items that I'll cover off this morning. One will be about framing of the challenge, then talking through the capabilities required to deliver on the opportunity. Secondly, a bit about Perenti and our journey in terms of decarbonisation and electrification more specifically. And then third, a case study of collaboration in progress, an example of that in real time. So over the last couple of days, I'm sure you've heard plenty of different sort of pieces of data and support regarding the criticality of achieving decarbonisation globally and targeting net zero by 2050. So I won't labour the point, but I will reinforce a couple of key items. Clearly, the mining industry has a significant role to play in delivering the increased demand associated with the 17 minerals and metals required to decarbonise. And if we look at the statistics associated with some of those key commodities, such as copper demand increasing from 2021 production levels out to 2050 demand, a 2.3 times increase. And then if you look at nickel global demand in the same time period, a 3 times increase. Obviously, we need to focus on recycling of key metals to support that as well, but fundamentally the demand in mining will increase significantly to achieve the decarbonisation targets and the net zero target by 2050. We also have our role to play in supporting decarbonisation, focused on decarbonising our operations globally. And if you think about what does that mean when you look at the demand curve that's ahead of us, it is around over a 90% reduction in our own emissions to achieve net zero. And it came up in the panel discussion previously, that won't be achieved through incremental improvement, whilst important, nor will it be achieved through transformation. It is beyond transformation, it is around revolution, and it is reimagining how we mine. And as part of that shift and sort of delivering on the global demand associated with the minerals and metals, we'll see an ongoing shift to underground mining. And some of those key drivers are around ore bodies at deeper depths, grades depleting, and the need to focus on minimising environmental impact. And there's significant benefits associated with underground mining, less ground disturbance, reduced water usage, and a lower carbon footprint. But there are challenges associated with underground mining. As soon as you go below the surface of the earth, the technical challenges are magnified and amplified, and the criticality of managing those technical challenges goes up significantly. Greater mine planning constraints associated with underground mining, which links back to having that technical sort of competence on board to manage that. And then fundamentally, operating underground is inherently riskier than surface mining, which goes to the safety of our people and the focus as an industry in doing more to keep our people safe. And ultimately, with automation and robotics to take people out of the risky areas, that is focus for the industry, albeit another topic of presentation. And ultimately, we believe that in time, the electric underground mine will be the most economic and socially responsible way of mining. It's a very busy slide, so I won't run through all the detail, but this is our blueprint for the core capabilities required to electrify a mine. And this is from discovery and development right through to mine closure and rehabilitation, and 10 phases with the core capabilities required in each of those phases to deliver on the broader objective of decarbonisation. But I will talk to the two core capabilities or key focus areas at the bottom of the page. And firstly, digital integration platform. As we look at the technology that comes on board, if we look at the significant increase in data that we continue to create and have to find insights into, and the optimisation of the subsystems and ultimately the overall system, we need a digital integrated platform to support our people to actually manage the complexity that we face today. So having that backbone across all elements of the operating cycle of a mine is absolutely critical. The second component is around leadership and the culture required to be able to reimagine mining. And the leadership is at all levels of any organisation and across the whole industry, of having the ability to sort of take those sort of bold decisions, support people in establishing the right culture where people feel safe and respected so that they can actually look to relearn what they've known, look to fail at times and learn from that, and ultimately collaborate in terms of reimagining how we mine to support decarbonisation. So a little bit about Perenti. Perenti is a global mining services company, and our purpose is to create enduring value and certainty for our communities in which we operate, our customers, our employees, and ultimately our shareholders. And we do this through living of our principles. And sustainability is embedded in everything we do. We have 3 sustainability imperatives and 5 sustainability priorities. And one of those priorities is around accelerating decarbonisation, which is central to our strategy and obviously linked to this presentation. We have about 11,000 people across the various businesses, operate in 12 countries, and this financial year turning over about $3.5 billion. Across the bottom of the page are the various brands that are part of Perenti. They're organised into 4 operating divisions. Our largest division being contract mining with Barminco, a global leader in underground mining, front and centre in that division. We have our drilling services division, and great to hear about drilling earlier with the panel and the opportunities there. We now have the second largest drilling services business globally after we combined the Ausdrill business with the DDH group through a transaction that concluded just recently. We have a mining services division with fleet rental and supply and logistics, and then we have our technology division, Idoba, with one of the brands in there being Orlogy. And we established the Idoba business to have technology capability within our business so we can look to change from the inside out as opposed to from the outside in, and leverage the sandpit associated with the contract mining businesses. So with our electrification journey in 2019, we launched our 2025 strategy. And in that we spoke about building complementary businesses to leverage off our deep domain expertise in mining. And with that, electrification is a key component of our strategy. And 3 areas that we focused on with our strategy has been around strategic partnerships for collaboration, increasing and building our internal capability associated with electrification, and third is around trialling of battery electric vehicles. In 2020, through Barminco, we signed up as a founding member of the Electric Mine Consortium. In 2021, we launched Idoba, as I mentioned earlier, a technology-driven business. In early 2022, we signed a MOU with Sumitomo to collaborate on technology and decarbonisation through Idoba. And then later in 2022, Sumitomo, seeing the value in Idoba, purchased 10% of Idoba. And earlier last year, we acquired the leading mining consultancy business, Orlogy, to be part of Idoba. Late last year, we signed a partnering agreement with ABB to jointly study the electrification of mines, and then earlier this year, we secured an electrification study with IGO for their Cosmos Nickel project in Western Australia, which I'll talk to a bit later. And just recently, we've commenced trialling Sandvik's largest battery electric underground haul truck at the Sunrise Dam mine with AGA in WA. Earlier, I mentioned with the core capabilities slide the need for a digital integrated platform. Through idoba, we've been developing DIMOS, Distributed Intelligent Integrated Mine Operating System. And if you think about the industry previously, where, and this is a simplification, but we had to solve for three key areas: cost, quality, quantity. As we look at what our people are solving for today, the complexity has increased significantly. Solving for decarbonisation, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, water usage, energy usage more broadly, and other sort of social considerations. And our people have to work through far more data than they've ever had to work through previously, and that is increasing, and also in shorter time periods. So the complexity of what our people have to work through has increased dramatically. Therefore, the requirement to augment what our people do is to develop a digital platform, and through idoba, we're developing DIMOS to support that sort of ongoing sort of shift of the industry. Core capabilities, this goes back to the slide earlier. The light coloured is the capabilities within Perenti. Clearly, not all areas are covered, and there's other capabilities need to sort of bring in to support the full electrification. If I then look at the partnership with ABB, ABB brings significant capability into areas we don't have, but also complements areas of capability that we do have. But again, there's still areas that aren't covered. So then if I talk briefly about the IGO case study that I mentioned about the Cosmos nickel mine in WA. And that is a study that is obviously the ABB and Perenti partnership with IGO, but it's different in the fact that whilst we do have to deliver an outcome to IGO as a client, it is an integrated team. It's the capability within IGO, with ABB and with Perenti to collaborate, to actually be smarter together in practice to deliver an outcome. And the status of the work to date, it's currently nearing the end of phase 2 of the study, and then the sort of future phase thereafter will be into a investment case for IGO. And if people attended the panel discussion on Tuesday with Mirzad, Chris and Darren, you would have heard some further detail about the work that's occurring there. And some of the insights is around CapEx and OpEx, reductions associated with primary and secondary ventilation. It's around savings associated with the cooling system of the underground mine. And as we trial more battery electric vehicles, we understand the productivities associated with those bits of equipment more so, and therefore the mining methodology and philosophy. And it's not about replacing diesel equipment with electric equipment. It is around how do you actually change the mining methodology and philosophy to maximise the shift in technology. And the other point is, as the team have been answering many questions, they've also been generating more questions and looking for further answers. So the learning continues in this work that the team are doing. So then, to wrap it all up, there are 5 key areas in terms of the focus on decarbonisation by reimagining mining. Leadership is critical at all levels, starting with the board. The board needs to have the appetite to support the investment, the timely sort of movement to accelerate the work in this space, and realise that some of the investment will be longer term value generation and not necessarily generating $1 tomorrow, which will upset some of our short-term sort of mindset investors. But ultimately, we do need the conviction from the board all the way through. Then with leadership, we have to establish the culture for our people to feel safe, to experiment, to give them support as we look to reimagine mining and give them the platform to reimagine it. Technology, point solutions are important, but how we integrate, how we link to people is critical. Capability is significant, and collaboration is the only way that we will achieve the outcome that we need, because no one has all of the capabilities required to decarbonise and electrify. So we really have to be smarter together as an industry to deliver on this objective of decarbonisation. Thank you.